take a look at what's been happening over the last few years. We've been having a convergence of signs that's pointing to the time we are in right here. A tetrad of 4 blood moons. Only happened in less times than what you could put on the fingers of your hand in the last 2,000 years. And every time a tetrad of 4 blood moons would happen in a 2-year period on Jewish holy days. Shemitah cycles. A lot of Jewish rabbis have looked at these 50-year cycles and looking at events that would go and say, that lines up.
Yes.
And 50 years later lines up. And 50 years later, where does it bring us? Well, they look at the Balfour Declaration, 1917. Okay, that was 100 years ago to this year. 50 years from 1917 was 1967, the Six-Day War, where Israel regained more of their nation. They regained Jerusalem. They looked at that as the Shemitah cycle. 50 years from 1967, 2017. You know what I mean? It's like 1948, Israel becoming a nation. Psalm says a nation is 70 years. 70 years from 1948, 2018. It's like there are all of these things. What else? The sign in the heavens. A solar eclipse visible all the way across our nation for the first time in 100 years. And before that, it was 1776 that event happened.
Oh, my.
And this total eclipse crossing our nation is going to repeat in 7 years. 7 years. I mean, it's like all of these things are converging. So we take a look at all of this convergence and then take a look at everything that has happened since August, actually September. In the last 2 months, there have been 7 record-breaking catastrophic events. Let me list them here. Hurricane in Houston. That was a record-breaking
Yes, it was.
Hurricane. Hurricane in Florida. Unseen devastation across the whole state. Hurricane in the Caribbean. Literally wiping some islands off the map.
Right.
The biggest recorded sustained winds in recorded history in the Caribbean.
And these storms are the biggest. That's the key. The extremes.
The extremes,
And,
yes.
now we're going to be seeing earthquakes in diverse places. Earthquakes in many places. And that's going to be one of the next big things.
The fourth one I'm showing is an 8.1 quake in Mexico. They said it was the biggest quake in Mexico in 100 years.
Now, Jesus didn't say these all would happen in the United States of America.
No, that's right.
We're kind of egotistical, I think.
Yes.
We think it all should be here. It doesn't exist. These earthquakes have begun.
A week or two later in Mexico, they had a 7-point-something that killed over 300 people.
Yeah,
and
terrible.
great devastation in Mexico City. And then number 6, Las Vegas. They say the biggest massacre in American history. Number 7, this is one that was most ignored by the news. The California fires, they said it was the biggest natural disaster in California history. Over 6,000 buildings and homes were totally destroyed. I mean, they had over 2,000 professional firefighters fighting fires in California. And beyond California, they didn't even hardly hit the news of the wildfires in Idaho, in Montana, Washington, Oregon, Canada. So the question is, are we really in the time of the day of sorrows? Could we see an acceleration of events and prophetic judgments happening in the next year? My answer is, with everything converging, I am going to act as if it will happen all in the next year, because I would rather be prepared a year early than one day late.
Amen.